Hi, and welcome to a super exciting, wonderful edition of Scarlet Betch. I'm Jason.
And I'm Anthony, in the same place!
Yeah, I think we should have had a screen here and pretended that we were having a split screen moment.
Yeah. If I could see Jason's face right now.
Yeah, so we have the very great pleasure of having Anthony in the studio being my bedroom, which is currently a mess.
Yeah, it is.
I'm really embarrassed, but yes.
Oh, not that it's a mess, that it's the studio.
It's the studio.
Yeah.
So Anthony has been visiting for this past weekend, the New Year's Eve. Happy New Year's, everyone.
Woo-hoo.
First podcast of the year, which is very exciting. And so we actually had a really nice queer comic book scavenger hunt this weekend. So we just wanted to share some of the things that we found. Why don't you start, Anthony?
We went to Forbidden Planet,
We did.
where they have a very extensive yaoi collection, and we found love pistols. It's all about people as animals and gay sex.
Yes. So furry fandom, all you queer furries out there, I know you're out there. Rejoice, because this is your manga.
I really like it because it's not like too bishonen. Like it's this guy's super blocky. Yay! And what did you get,
And
Jason?
I got by John Macy, Teleny and Camille. It's a graphic novel adaptation of Oscar Wilde and Circle and Friends, like Lamb Chop's Playhouse and Friends, something like that.
Well, you know how like nowadays people who write fanfiction will pass the story between each other and like write different sections. That's what Oscar Wilde.
So basically, this was a literary daisy chain, is what you're saying.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, but it's super cool. It's great production value, and it's like super sexy. I don't think I can like show it actually to you now because it's a little X-rated. But definitely check it out. Yeah, we got this at St. Mark's Comics, and if you ever go there, there's like a back section that's like all adult, but they don't like label. There's no like curtain involved. You're just like walking around, you're like, oh, you know, Marvel, DC, breasts and penis, and you're like, oh, okay, we're doing something different. But yeah, aside from that,
and if you haven't read the text only Teleny, that's a really good one. If you're an English major, do your homework on it.
Exactly. Also, last week came out a great continuation of the wonderful adventures of Anoli and Rockslide, or what was it? What are their alias names? I don't even remember.
Like the ones that they use, like the funny ones, like Squirrel masquerading as.
Yeah. Well, whatever. It's X-Men Serve and Protect.
It's very good.
Number 2. Also, since when is Emma Frost wearing like a bikini? I thought she was in hot pants now. I wasn't aware.
Does she have a standard costume now? I feel like she's
but I thought that
like
she had,
through a storyline.
I thought she had at least like matured beyond her like stripper wear.
I loved her stripper wear.
It's like a little like expensive.
Her Inverse X was the best superhero costume I've ever seen.
Well, that's not even stripper wear. That's like she was wearing granny panties. That's like some Lady Gaga shit.
No, that wasn't granny panties. That was like hot pants, but with like a higher waist.
They were granny.
Oh
panties.
No, but it was a higher waist because she had to make the X up.
I think that's the Pens. Like she got that from the Pens.
It was hot. It doesn't matter.
Anyway, it's X-Men Serve and Protect. We get the great continuation of the buddy cop team up.
Full ass.
It is
asshole.
Full
backle.
But anyway, but yeah. So we get Anoli and Rockslide back in their buddy cop story, which is really fun. They're in San Francisco, laying down the law, and actually. At first, the first story I was really enjoying it just because like we get Anoli's really great witty banter and Rockslide and their relationship is really like sweet and lovely as it's always been. But what I really enjoy about it is actually it's given much more depth to Rockslide, who I think has kind of been a really kind of like flat character and not stoic if I and
I think he's more of a clown character.
Well, I mean, it's just he just hasn't had a lot of like flavor to him. He's just like, I'm Santos, I'm a rock, and like I'm also a teenage boy. But like this is actually like shows some depth of character, and the fact that he needs to go out and save people because it's like he has to do something good in the world because so many horrendous things that happen to him and all of his friends. which is really nice.
Yeah, and I love the pairing of them because I feel like they're they can teach each other a lot, and just like reading it, I'm like, I want to find out how they relate to other people. I want to see them in all parts of their lives. And,
Yeah, exactly.
beating people up too.
I also just really like to see San Francisco comes front and center in the X-Men storyline because we've kind of been removed from that.
Well, they moved out onto an island.
Yeah, they did, and they got then Norman Osborn declared them terrorists and XYZ. But we did have a question. So at the very so spoiler alert. So if you hate spoilers, turn off your volume right now. So at the very end of their story, they get intercepted by a group called the Serpent Society. I think they're like from
Wiki that.
Yeah, exactly. I think they're a Silver Age villain group. But we noticed that one of the blonde Serpent Society lady over here, she looks very like uncannily similar to the lady reporter that they rescued earlier. So we weren't sure if like she was like setting them up and like, I got you, motherfuckers, and like, that kind of thing. So.
Yeah, I mean, it could just be that this artist can only draw one blonde-haired, blue-eyed woman.
Hi, Greg Land. This isn't Greg Land though, but
no, but hi.
Yeah. But
you want another shut up?
Yeah.
I picked up Knight and Squire and number 3, and like the other 2 issues. Well, the first issue had a lot of showed like the linguistics and a lot of references to like British history and just like plays on words and things to make their villains. And it was like a tour de force of like what is the Marvel universe in England. And so I found it very confusing because I'm not as much of an Anglophile as I used to be. But this is this got my motor running because this is all theater and a little bit of history, a little bit of the kings of England. The premise is that Richard III is resurrected and he speaks in iambic pentameter. And it's
as we all should.
We're not going to switch into that right now.
4-2?
No. Anon. And Anon, Wolverine Father, that was the other one I wanted to give a shout out to. It's what if Wolverine raised Daken or Daken, and who would he still be, the same? And the answer is yes, he'd be completely the same. So Wolverine would kill them both. Spoilers, sorry. But yeah, I thought it was weird because, I mean, Dexter has brought, I think, if it's well researched, then the serial killer knowledge, and if not, then serial killer mythology to, I think, the culture of war. And so it's interesting that Wolverine fails to raise his son to be something that we know that he would be if Wolverine didn't raise him. And so...
Well, also because Wolverine's a serial killer.
Right. I mean, and that's the thing, like, I always forget, like, in the Avengers Children's Crusade, he's really, like, a serial killer character. But people forget that all the time, like, when he's interacting with Jubilee or Kitty, and, like, he's like their dad, and everybody, yay. But no, he's actually a murderer.
One of my friends was joking that, like, that they need to make a miniseries of Wolverine and his Teen Girl Squad, and just have, like, Shadowcat, Jubilee, and all the team X-23.
The ugly one.
They should all just kind of like have make a punk rock band and like go touring or something.
Oh my god. Yeah. And so I thought it was interesting that, I mean, either it's that Wolverine, the serial killer, raises his son to be a serial killer because he's a serial killer, and so he would raise every child of his to be a serial killer, or it's because Daken is born from this like cesarean where it's like carved out of his mother's stomach in both the realities, so that could be his, because like Dexter is supposed to be a serial killer because his mom was murdered in a truck and he was in it.
So what does that mean for Twilight? What do you mean Twilight? Well, doesn't Bella's baby eat her way out of her uterus?
Yeah, but that was her. She's a vampire. Of course she's a serial killer.
Okay, I guess.
She kills mountain lions like all the time. Like, what?
I'll keep mountain lions. And we're going to talk really quickly about Wonder Woman. Just really, really fast. It was good to see Diana back in her kind of like in the Bronx, and it's interesting because it's kind of like the part that I feared the most about the reboot, the loss of the mythic nature of Diana, and it's a little weird. Like there's a lot of magic in the Amazon. It establishes the Amazons aren't just like a loosey-goosey like crazy cult. They're actually organized and have people watching after her and that kind of thing. I really dislike how she's kind of like Sabrina the Teenage Witch with like Salem the cat, the magical cat that talks. And so that's I'm a little not excited about.
I'm like, why does she have a talking cat? Like, what about Amazon? Did Amazon's raise talking cats?
Yeah. Also, but I did really like the introduction of the Morgans. These like Celtic or just these like.
Well, because it was like they're from 3 different mythologies.
Yeah,
and,
they're
like,
from different. They're war goddesses from different pantheons, and that's kind of interesting. It builds in some possible questions onto their what's going on with the broader mythos in terms of
yeah,
what went wrong with the timeline. And I really like that they like the 2 I guess servants that they summon. One of them is Cernunnos, who is a Celtic a Celtic antlered god of the hunt and fertility and that kind of stuff. And I've always had a soft spot for him just in my Celtic lore. Yeah, and so that's
Nice.
exciting. It's unfortunate that he's like a bloodthirsty, crazy motherfucker. But
I love that they stabbed Diana.
yeah, she actually needs to get. I mean, she got her
Like,
fight
that's
going,
crazy.
but she needs to also work on that durability.
Yeah,
That's
the
not
invulnerability.
working.
Yeah, that's
Not working
next,
too well.
guys. That's
Yeah.
next. I guess healing factor, so she's gonna be the new Wolverine. Also, I don't know if if JMS knows this, but when Diana's listening to music, we can't hear it.
Nope. So you should include a CD. Just
Welcome to the digital age, or a code for a download or something.
But that's all we have time for today. Thanks for tuning in to this great, wonderful edition of Scarlet Witch.
Bitch.
That bitch. But tune in next week for another great issue.